What did they do?
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
They didn't.
What did they do?
Nothing. And the woman said it's for paying customers after they didn't do anything.
The arrest, and now here's the statement from the police about the arrest.
These officers did absolutely nothing wrong. They followed policy. They did what they were supposed to do. They were professional in all their dealings with these gentlemen, and instead they got the opposite back. I will say that as an African-American male, I am very aware of implicit bias. We are committed to fair and unbiased policing, and anything less than that will not be tolerated. You can make your own value judgments based on what you have heard, but I can tell you candidly again that these officers did absolutely nothing wrong.
All right.
Haven't seen that.
I noticed he was wearing a white shirt.
Great point. Jason, give us a quick foreign relations update.
Okay, so the Trump administration has proposed something just radically crazy. They actually believe that the people that live in the Middle East should probably take care of the region themselves.
Wow, it's almost like the 9th and 10th Amendment.
Right, it is a wild
crazy
concept.
All right.
But so this is what they're proposing, and they're proposing that Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, and even Egypt have been contacted to create an Arab police force that will basically take control of the areas that the United States is now looking after. So that way we could pull back and they would take care of the region for themselves. Now, they have done, literally, the Gulf Arab nations have done literally
nothing.
Jack squat since the Syrian thing went down in 2011. They've taken in no refugees. They give only a handful of dollars. They do nothing. And military action, you can forget about it. So it would be great if they actually got pushed into a little bit of action. Now, I will say, you said that it's both worrisome and good. The last time Israel had a legitimate threat was when there was a Grand Arab Army, but that time it was organized by Nasser in Egypt, and that's when all the Arabs, nothing organizes Arabs more than attacking Israel. So,
I will tell you, it's not only worrisome on that, it is that part of the world doesn't really embrace the Jesus teaching of the Good Samaritan and helping and caring and loving. Now, it's not to say that there are not people there that are loving, etc. But for the most part, the state is black and white on things, and they are not one to go out with the compassion first. I am very fearful that by doing this, and I agree with this, but I also caution that all of the Christians would be dead. They'd all be dead in Syria and Iraq if we waited for the Middle East to do anything. The Jews would be dead. Maybe not, because they've learned to take care of themselves. But they don't care about even Muslims. They just don't care. They're not taking them. It takes somebody like Jordan that actually has enough westernized values to lead that.
I agree. They're still a long way off to figuring this out, but I like the mindset.
Me too.
Maybe it's Bolton. I don't know who it is, but I like the mindset
I think it's Trump. This is the kind of stuff Trump has been saying. We're out.
Yeah. Okay, I do want to get to Doc's topic, but let's take a break really quickly so we can dive into it. Doc, lay it all out for us.
Potentially a biased textbook making its way around and possibly going to be put in schools, but I'll let you decide. We had a high school junior from Minnesota on it. She's a teacher's assistant, and they were bringing in some books and saying, hey, we may use these in the future. And she kind of red flagged it. She found some things in there and said, hey, I think this is wrong. I think they're being biased here. One of the things she put or mentioned in the textbook was Trump supporters, because they were talking about the election, it's a new textbook, were older, rural, or suburban, white, and primarily poor. Is there anything biased?
Primarily poor.
Primarily poor.
Or primarily, but poor in general. They did mention that.
Yeah, no, that's
not accurate.
Okay. Older?
Yeah, yes, he did better with older voters.
So some of you are like, that is obvious.
Better with white.
Right. The election was determined by people afraid of change.
No.
Like conservatives that are afraid of change.
But the Secretary of State of the previous administration was running. So if you didn't want change, you'd want Hillary Clinton, who was basically going to give you 4 more years of what you had.
It mentions Black Lives Matter movement. It says Mike Brown's body laid in the street for 4 hours, and cops held the family off with guns, basically. Held him, wouldn't let him up.
Wow.
Body.
Wow.
Okay, some of that's true, right? I mean, he was there for hours. And
but that's because you go and do forensics.
It's called an active investigation, and you're doing it or whatever.
Context.
Right, it's the context of it. So while there are some facts, it does seem a little bit biased still. And then one other thing, it said Hillary supporters worried that about Trump's mental stability. Do Hillary supporters worry about Trump's mental?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of them. But taken out of context like that, or if you're reading the future, like, oh, I worry about Jason being crazy. Well, when it's out there, then you're like, well, there must be something to it, whether he is or not. By mentioning that, kind of makes it biased.
I think we would be surprised. The more of these textbooks we look through at all, like primary school all the way through, I bet that we would be surprised.
Of course. People don't realize when they're writing it, they think they're totally fair. Some are nefarious and intentionally skewing it. Others think they're totally fair. They don't realize how it sounds to the other side. We can talk amongst ourselves, and, some progressives would be listening, and they might think we're being nefarious because we're using this word over this word, where, no, it doesn't mean that to us, but they think it does.
Could it have been as simple as, like, Hillary supporters think or worry about Trump's mental stability? If there was something else with it, to balance it a little bit. I feel like with just a few more sentences, they could have made it more balanced.
The problem is this is a history book,
right?
And history books are never easy to write in the current atmosphere. You write this in 15 years from now, and it will still be important, but it won't be as contentious as it is now,
I think maybe adding some polling or something that would support, because you can look at exit polls and find out that, yes, older people supported Trump at a higher rate than younger people did. I mean, those sorts of things are facts that can be backed up with at least something.
Well, you could also do comparison, too. Trump did really well in the black community by comparison to other Republicans and some other white candidates. He did really well.
Yeah, here's the thing. You remember in 2010, it was the biggest turnout for Republicans. I don't remember since when, maybe ever. And it was all about the Tea Party. That year was all about the Tea Party. If you remember, the year in review by Time Magazine, the year in review in pictures, not a single picture of the Tea Party. Not one. They were erasing that whole thing from history.
Yeah. I listen to your show every day in the morning, and you get passionate about some things, but today, I didn't realize you had it out for Apple.
No, this is beyond a joke, and I'm dead serious on this. I want to know why Apple cannot make a cord that is longer than my arm, because I am more than this far away when I'm using an Apple product. I'm not this close to an outlet, okay? Unless I sit down at the outlet. And even when you go in and buy the cords, I'll spend all kinds of money. You go out and buy them at Target, not good enough. Okay, good. I'll go to Apple. I'll stand in frickin' line to get one of those deals. They work about half of the time. If you even breathe, they just fall out of the outlet. They just fall out. I don't know why you can't make a cord that will actually stay plugged into the wall, but they don't stay plugged in. They usually don't work, and they're short as hell, and I demand an answer.
Well, sum that
It
up
used to
pretty
be
nicely.
funny. It's not with me
Is
anymore.
this for your laptop?
No, it's for my iPad.
iPad.
Okay.
My iPad. I mean, literally, I've done everything I can. I've gone through, I don't know how many cords. Yesterday, if Steve Jobs would have been alive in my house, you'd be mourning his death again today. I can't take it anymore.
Stu, give us a quick Stormy Daniels update.
This is highly important,
Yes,
Sarah.
yes.
I'm
not even going to ask why it matters.
Of course, we know this matters. Stormy and her lawyer are in a constant hype cycle. They're just trying to keep the story in the news with more and more big things that they keep doing. One of the accusations, if you remember, Stormy said that she was threatened by someone in Las Vegas in 2011 over the Donald Trump thing.
To be honest, who is it?
Well, this is the thing. So we have pictures of who it was.
Yes.
They released an actual sketch. Now, again, this isn't news, a sketch.
This is based on what she told them.
Of what she told them. And look at the similarities. A lot of people are noticing similarities. First of all, Ken doll. Could Ken have been the person?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But he's a doll,
He
so...
said he was a little taller.
A little taller, okay. We have several different options for you to select from. Dexter, from the show Dexter. He was a serial killer.
Yeah.
He has blood splattered on his face. There's some similarities there. I don't know. This one was fairly, this next one was fairly convincing, I thought. Yeah.
That's
there
it.
is.
Pretty dang close.
That's it.
It is.
I mean,
And you know what?
It's a long litany of evidence.
Yeah, of course. Trump said, hey, who do we get to do this? Got to be a patriot.
That's
There's
right
a
there.
patriot.
That's
He's
him.
friends with the owner. He's friends with Tom Brady. No one would believe Tom Brady would be the one in Las Vegas assaulting Stormy Daniels.
That was 2011. That was one of the only years they didn't win the Super Bowl or
Let's
even
go get him.
because he was in
Let's
Vegas.
get him.
We cracked the case here at the Blaze.
Yeah, let's
Don't
not go
forget
get
that.
him.
Let's take a break.
Let's just boycott. You're in trouble.
Don't have much time, but I do want to get to one question. Free Range wants to know, don't most people sign a confidentiality agreement with their employer? Seems like the FBI, James Comey, should be under a gag order or something.
All I know is
Why is he allowed to talk?
All I know is I didn't with Glenn Beck.
Wait a minute, Doc. What?
The tell-all
Hey, buddy,
story
want to have dinner?
is
What do you
coming.
want? What do you want?
Yeah.
Have my car.
Broccoli.
Okay, well, that is it for us, you guys. Tune in tomorrow.
Or don't, but I...
No, I mean, I would.
Important
Please do,
on tomorrow's
actually.
show.
Either
Might be
way.
something important.
Yeah.
Charging. I was just reading about how everything's going to that inductive charging now.